and informative.
A very beautiful morning to you and welcome to the News Machine, the hottest news magazine show on radio, and we are reaching you from our Hot FM stations in Lagos on 93.3 FM, Hot FM Abuja 98.3 FM and Hot FM Owerri 99.5 FM, 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m. Monday to Friday. I am Victor Eze. This morning on the News Machine, here are some top headlines. Lawyers tackle DSS over charge and bail tweet. The federal government to bar POS agents from fixing new prices. And still in the headlines, erosion threat. Senate wants urgent intervention. The News Machine will be back after this message.
Now you can get your news on. Hot, fresh, exciting, and exclusive. The News Machine.
Reaching you at the same time in Lagos, Abuja, and Owerri. 3 states for the price of 1. Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m.
The News Machine. More than just news.
Hot FM.
We are more than just radio.
Welcome back to the News Machine. A group of human rights lawyers have criticized the Department of State Services DSS over a post on its official Twitter handle, which they said denigrated the legal profession. The legal practitioners who had earlier initiated a contempt case against the Director General of the DSS, Mr. Yusuf Bichi, over the detention of the suspended Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, described as insulting. A tweet by the security agencies, which they said described them as charge and bail lawyers. Leader of the group, Mr. Tijani Ahmed, who briefed newsmen at the Federal High Court in Abuja, accused the security agencies of threatening to frame them with terrorism-related charges. The lawyers maintained that it was wrong for the security agencies to use its platform to insult the legal profession. The Executive Secretary of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund, Sonny Echona, says over 137 students sponsored abroad by the fund absconded. Echona appeared before the House of Representatives had a committee investigating the alleged mismanagement of 2.3 trillion naira tertiary education tax by TET Fund. He stressed that the scholars who were sponsored by TET Fund for higher education abroad refused to return to the country after completing their programs. Echona said TET Fund is working with stakeholders for stringent and effective measures to be taken against those who refuse to return to the country for Nigerians to benefit from the expertise. The Nigerian Senate has called on the Ministries of Works and Housing, Environment as well as Ecological Fund Office to urgently tackle the menace of erosion devastating major roads across the country. The Upper Legislative Chamber also wants the Federal Road Maintenance Agency FEMA to join in the prevention of erosion on the highways. These resolutions were reached after a debate on 3 separate motions stating the urgent need to control the erosion ravaging Onitsha-Oba section of the Onitsha-Owerri Federal Highway in Anambra by Senator Victor Ume, Anambra Central, and the immediate need for erosion control in Edo Central as well as Ondo South senatorial districts to save lives and properties by Senators Okpebholo Monday and Jimo Ibrahim, respectively. In his motion, Senator Ume noted the devastating effect of ravaging gully erosions and landslides on the road in the country, especially in Anambra State.
And the Senate equally notes that the magnitude of the menace is beyond the control of the state government. Accordingly, the Senate resolves to urge the federal government to direct the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to commence immediate repairs and reconstruction of the affected parts of the Onitsha-Owerri Federal Road, and particularly the sections between Opiweka roundabout in Onitsha and Oba in Idemili South local government area of Anambra State, which spans about 6 kilometers. The Senate also urges the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to ensure regular surveillance of federal highways to identify and nip erosion threats to federal roads in the bud, and further urge the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency to join in the
Other senators like Senator Pebolo Monday of Edo Central noted that the peculiar nature of the topography in Edo and Ondo states have put many communities under the constant threat, resulting in massive flooding on the roads.
The President also worried that ongoing highway routes projects in Edo Central face the risk of being damaged even before they are completed, as a result of which the community may just be losing the government may just be losing hundreds of millions of naira because of the natural disaster. The cost of intervention in erosion disaster is too weighty for local government and state government to bear.
This is Senator Jimo Ibrahim of Ondo South.
May I bring to your attention that the World Bank is actually getting involved now in designing that the community cannot go into extinction. It cannot be watered over by the sea completely. And I say this worried that the Ayetoro is at the verge of being completely lost to the sea if nothing is done urgently, and there is more they are pregnant because residents are gradually losing hope. In fact, massively losing hope, and they are alluded to the fact that many years of investment have disappeared.
And here is Senate President Godswill Akpabio.
Particular prayer has taken care of all your fears, that they should have a holistic approach to take inventory of all the areas of gully erosions and other forms of erosion across the country. But I think we also have a duty. When our committees are in place, these things must be, we must undertake serious oversight, and state by state, by the various committees on environment and ecological office, on ecological issues and all that. So it's not something that we can stop today. And definitely there may not be funds to carry out all, but that's why specific ones that are life-threatening and very urgent must be selected, and that's what most of our committees would definitely bring.
After the debate on the motions, which were widely supported by lawmakers, President of the Senate Godswill Akpabio directed the Committee on Environment, Ecology Works and Special Duties when constituted to urge all the ministries to come up with lasting work plan to arrest the devastating effects of flooding in the country. Now it's time to get the trending stories from our news machine studios at ODFM 98.3 Abuja. Let's hook up with Abuja Report.
Good morning. Here's the news from Abuja. President Bola Tinubu has ordered a review of his administration's plan for monthly 8,000 naira transfer to 12 million of the poorest households in the country for 6 months to cushion the effect of the removal of fuel subsidy. The plan was contained in a letter read last Thursday on the floor of the House of Representatives regarding the $800 million loan request of former President Muhammadu Buhari's administration for a social safety net program. In a statement by the President's Special Advisor on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy, Dele Alake, noted that the cash program was not the only item in the relief package initiated by Tinubu. Alake said the President vowed to always put Nigerians at the heart of his policy and program. According to him, Tinubu directed that 8,000 naira conditional cash transfer program envisaged to bring succor to most vulnerable households be reviewed immediately. The President also directed that the entirety of the government's palliative package be unveiled to Nigerians, while ordering the immediate release of fertilizers and grains to approximately 50 million farmers and households respectively in all the 36 states and the FCT. Following a series of alleged killing of suspected smugglers in Katsina State over the years, the Senate has set up an ad hoc committee to immediately investigate the involvement of the Nigerian customs in the matter. The 11-man committee headed by Senator Francis Fadahunsi has 6 weeks to complete the investigation on the alleged abuse of firearms by custom officers and report back to the Senate. These are some of the resolutions reached on the floor of the Senate on Wednesday after deliberations on a point of order raised by Senator representing Katsina Central Abdulaziz Yaradua. In his presentation, Senator Yaradua expressed worry that despite the unprofessional handling of arms by the service, it is yet to make an arrest or bring the culprits to book. Contributing to the motion, Senator representing Zamfara West Abdulaziz Yari, who said the killing is not only peculiar to Katsina, but other border towns across many parts of the Northwest must not be handled with kid gloves. He therefore recommended that government must do everything to stop the activities of smugglers as well as retaliatory actions of custom officers. After the debate, the Senate urged the NCS to improve on training of its personnel in handling of firearms, especially fire discipline when dealing with Nigerian citizens. And that's all from the News Machine studio at Hot FM Abuja. I'm Kevin Joseph La, over to Lagos.
Alright, let's link up with the News Machine studio at ODFM 99.5 Owerri for the trending news happening in the southeastern part of the country.
Good morning and welcome to our News Machine studios in Owerri. Gunmen have killed 3 persons in about 2 communities of Orogwe, Irete, in Owerri West local government area of Imo State. An eyewitness who confirmed this to newsmen in Owerri said the attacks happened in different locations early this week. He also said a former Enugu psychiatrist director, popularly known as Jojo, was attacked and his vehicle snatched from him. The reason for the attack was linked to the Simon Ekpa announced sit-at-home order towards the end of this month. Reacting, the Imo State Police Public Relations Officer PPRO, Henry Okoye, said he's yet to receive an official report on the above cases. The Poultry Association of Nigeria, PAN, has decried the high cost of maize prices and the scarcity of the product, which is causing farmers to close down their poultry farms. This negative economic outlook was disclosed by the Zonal Vice Chairman Southeast, Onu Izolisa, during a press conference in Owerri, the Imo State capital. According to Izolisa, the inability to feed the birds and sustain businesses is putting over 25 million jobs in the value chain at stake, as maize is one of the primary ingredients used in the production of feeds for birds.
At the moment, the poultry industry in Nigeria is on the verge of total collapse. If urgent intervention is not channeled to it without further delay. We are aware that the government has declared a state of emergency on the food security situation of the country, but the situation in the poultry industry calls for an immediate urgent intervention to save the industry from total collapse. The high surge in pricing of maize and the near absence or scarcity of the product is causing farmers to close down their poultry farms at the moment because it is no longer sustainable to feed the birds and be in business, thereby threatening the further development of the Nigerian poultry industry.
He said that in the current dispensation and scheme of things, the poultry industry is being frustrated by the Nigerian Commodity Exchange.
In the current dispensation and scheme of things, the poultry industry is being frustrated by the Nigerian Commodity Exchange and the strategic maize reserve of the Central Bank of Nigeria, where it was allocated 40,000 metric tons of maize to assist poultry production in the country. And in 2 weeks, they cancelled the allocation and stopped poultry farmers from lifting the maize on the conditions best known to them, and thereby major contributing to the high prices of maize in the markets now because of holding down their stocks of maize.
Although the association acknowledged recent government efforts, especially the import restriction of frozen chicken, which saw positive multiplier effects on the growth of the sector. As reactions and outrage trail yesterday's hike in the pump price of petrol, the coalition of Southeast youth leaders has vowed to mobilize Nigerian youths for a peaceful protest against the development. The coalition described the unilateral increase of petrol pump prices by the federal government as not only wicked, but the height of insensitivity and recklessness on the part of the President Bola Tinubu-led administration. That's all from the News Machine studios at Hot FM Owerri. Back to our studios in Lagos. I am Ifeyunwa Nwana.
You are still listening to the News Machine, reaching you from our Hot FM stations in Lagos on 93.3 FM, Hot FM Abuja 98.3 FM, and Hot FM Owerri 99.5 FM, 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m., Monday to Friday. Let's hear what correspondent Nesta Sani has for us in voices in the news.
Nigeria's immediate past Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Khali Baba, as he hands over to his successor.
As I exit the leadership of the force today, I believe that I am leaving it better than I met it. I believe that I have added value to policing in Nigeria. I hold the firm conviction that the steady progress has been made in all the components of my promise to change the policing narratives and in our journey to restore the dwindling police primacy within the internal security architecture of the country. We might not be there, or we might not yet be there, but certainly the pathways have been clearly defined, firm foundation built, and the giant strides taken for a new force leadership to leverage on his quest for a better police force.
And on the foreign scene, South Africa's presidency has announced that Russian President Vladimir Putin will not attend the BRICS summit in the country in August. The summit will instead be attended by Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, alongside the leaders of Brazil, India, China and South Africa. In a statement, the South African President Cyril Ramaphosa said the decision was reached by mutual agreement between the two countries. Remember, you can listen to more episodes of The News Machine and watch videos of news stories online at odfm.ng. And that's a wrap on today's edition of The News Machine. Join us again tomorrow for a fresh edition. To have a beautiful day. Good morning.